Really, we're standing at a moment in history, in human history, where we're seeing something completely unprecedented, which is that we've all sort of decided that we need to replace the energy infrastructure that powers the entire global economy. 100 years ago, you had Henry Ford start mass producing cars, and people like Rockefeller start getting oil out of the ground at an industrial scale, making it cheaper, building gas stations all over the place, and building affordable cars for people. And it just sort of enabled our modern way of life that we know today, right? But then somebody stops and says, hey, wait a minute. This was, fine when it was like we had a few cars. But if we just keep making millions and millions of these cars and other equipment that's putting this stuff into the air, where does that end? Obviously, at some point, you run out of oil, right? And probably before that, there's a whole bunch of shit in the air. So now we're like, okay, shit. We're in kind of a shitty situation because we've now built up this society. We can't stop using the fossil fuels, the energy. We need it. But at the same time, we realize that this isn't sustainable. And if we don't do something about this, you know, everything's going to be fucked. Then, people said, okay, what can we do? Maybe we can have batteries, maybe we can have solar energy, nuclear, this stuff. And all the governments and everyone are like, okay, yeah, we need to do this. But there's also really heavily entrenched interests. People are making a ton of money off the status quo. And so, that's where Tesla came in. You had GM sort of launch their compliance EV ones, and they crushed them up, right? And the customers wanted the car. They said, hey, we really like that EV. But GM didn't want to pay to develop and spend all that money, make all that capital investment. They didn't even want to support it, so they just crushed them up. And then Tesla comes along. They didn't have the same sort of perverse incentives as the legacy automakers. They said, okay, we're going to make these EVs and we're going to make them the best cars. We don't have to sort of try and save our ICE business or something. We're just going to show that this can be better in every way. And so they start trying to do the energy side with home batteries and solar and cars. And everyone's sort of laughing them at first in the car, saying, oh, this is just expensive. It's a toy. But they keep growing and growing. They keep bringing new models to the market that are more and more affordable, more and more mass market. They keep expanding production every year. And now here we are with, in 2022, they're now one of the largest volume automakers in the world, and they only make electric vehicles. At a time when some in the auto industry are still questioning whether EVs are even the future. They're already 100% transitioned, and they're the only ones really doing it profitably. So, here we are in 2023, we're about to enter. They've just launched FSD beta for the first time, which now has made them sort of think, okay, wow, we've developed this AI technology that maybe we could use for robots and other things too. But they've launched that for the first time in the US. They're about to launch it around the world. We're seeing them set up Cybertruck production. They've launched Semi. Gigafactory Austin and Berlin have ramped up past 3,000 units a week. They're making 1,000 cars a week worth of 4680 cells. There's actually a lot of really good things happening, and when you look at where EVs are in the auto market, the fact that the EV tax credit's coming in now and prices are starting to come down, I think that EVs, and especially, autonomous EVs, are really poised to disrupt the market in a way that people aren't really thinking about right now. Zoom out, look at the big picture, and realize that in the grand scheme of things, this is kind of an incredible story that we're a part of. And, I think it would be sad to sort of not realize that we're in this moment of history